Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to this video on the Aries solar eclipse, one of the most powerful cosmic events this year, if not the most powerful. Because the energies that are being activated during this time are not just about the day of the eclipse. They are opening up a cycle that when I study the charts and feel into the Akashic records, I see expanding for the next couple of years. So you are beginning or refining, more likely refining, but it is like a new chapter, a new season at the time of the solar eclipse. So, welcome to all of you. If you are new here, my name is Kara. When I share these cosmic updates and energy readings, I'm studying the astrology and then also sharing knowledge with you from the Akashic records on how we can work with this energy in the highest timeline possible. So it supports your growth and evolution. So it supports your healing. So it supports you in doing your soul's work on the planet, sharing your message, sharing your gifts. So if that resonates, be sure that you subscribe. If you've been with me a while, welcome. I always love reading your comments under my videos. So say hi below and share with me, what are you manifesting in this new moon eclipse energy? So solar eclipses are new moons. Eclipses happen on either a new or full moon. And anytime you hear the term solar eclipse, that means it is a new moon. So we are working with new energy here, not only with the new moon, but we're working with Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, and it's falling on the North Node, which is forward momentum. It's the path we are called to lean into this lifetime. So this eclipse is going to fall over parts of Canada, the US, and Mexico, but we are all going to feel it. I know some of my clients are planning trips to be able to see the eclipse. And of course, if you're doing that, you want to have appropriate eye gear as well. Like it is a very powerful, and even if we're not directly seeing the eclipse or in our area, we are 100% feeling as energy. And this happens when the moon passes between the earth and the sun, and it's blocking out the sun rays and it's casting a shadow on the earth. It's very, very powerful, very significant. And eclipses bring about accelerated growth and healing. The lunar eclipse that we had in the sign of Libra was a full moon, and that's where we saw a lot falling away. You may have been very aware of karmic cycles at play in your life. So, cycles that you continue to find yourself in that are actually wanting you to grow and evolve, to take the lesson and to move forward. You may have saw old patterns surfacing, and there's a big focus on relationships. So, now as we work with this Aries energy, this is more about the relationship we have with ourselves. Aries is about how we lead ourselves, having the confidence to take the action on what we desire to create. The Aries archetype is very good at not overthinking. So our intuition speaks to us very quickly. So do our instincts. It's like it's an instant drop in. And I think any decision we're facing in our life, I feel we ultimately know instantly the direction to go. The thing is, we often allow our mind to take over. So the more that we tend to prolong any decision in our life, the more that we tend to fall back and revert to old programming and patterns, which can be fear programming and patterns as well. So I think this new moon is also very much a call to be in flow with your intuition and how it speaks to you, and to ride the momentum of that. And as we do that, we do create accelerated shifts and changes in our life. Things can appear to move at a greater speed, but when we are connected to our intuition, it doesn't feel like we're out of control or we're panicky or things are moving so fast that we can't keep up. It's not about that. When we're in flow with our intuition, we're in flow with our highest path. And what is ultimately our journey, our highest path, the highest and best good for us. And it's only when we tend to shift into that fear and overthinking that we can bring in some of that chaotic energy, or things can really slow down. So this new moon is really building that momentum and an invitation to come back and listen to where your intuition is guiding you. Aries is also so courageous. So, one of my favorite affirmations that I've shared for years is I am greater than any obstacle that comes my way. I will always rise. Even take a moment to feel into your heart. Take a deep breath. Affirm, I am greater than any obstacle that comes my way. I will always rise. Feel the power of that, the power you hold. We are collectively going through a time of major transformation. And because the macro is always a reflection of the micro, we individually are undergoing transformations. So remember that any challenge or obstacle you're facing, that you are greater than that. You are more powerful than that. I feel this affirmation is the embodiment of the archetypal energy of Aries that brings us into our power, which is where courage comes from. It's not that we don't have the fear. It's not that we don't have insecurities or doubts, but it's that we remember who we are and we have a vision that is greater than our fear. We are connected to love, which dissolves fear. So it's about remembering who we really are. Now, before I share my screen, we dive into the chart here. I want to also share about the North Node, which is extremely significant. And this is what makes eclipses so significant from an astrological standpoint, is they're activating the nodal axes, which is the karmic nodes, the nodes of destiny. So a little fun astrology fact. In your birth chart, which is your soul blueprint, it has so much beautiful insight on the lessons you are here to learn, the multidimensional gifts that you hold, past lives. We gain so much from that. So the North Node is the path your soul wants you to lean into to create evolution for you this lifetime. It's the gifts you are here to learn, the traits you are here to adopt. It's what you're leaning into. It's the direction you are headed in and going. The more you lean into your North Node, the more you move into the flow state. Doesn't mean there isn't obstacles. In fact, it will stretch you out of your comfort zone. The North Node is not what comes easy to us, but it is what our soul is wanting to learn for the next stage of our evolution and growth. Our default, our comfort zone, is actually the traits of the South Node. So we want to take the strengths of our South Node, what we have learned, but remember where we're going is the direction of the North Node. So it's a very significant placement. Collectively, with this total solar eclipse in Aries, the North Node is in Aries as well. We are leaning in to these traits of leadership, courage, confidence, a knowingness in what we have to contribute to this planet. You are here on purpose. If you found your way into my world, you are here to create big impact. You are here with so much wisdom and knowledge cultivated throughout lifetimes that it's time to share. We'll dive more into the chart and you're going to see exactly like the other aspects that are coming into play that are really pointing to that as well, like stepping up into your power as that, master healer you are. It's just like owning those gifts. So we're leaning into this North Node in Aries. The other thing I feel coming through in the Akashic records around this is the discussion around how we see ourselves, our identity that we take on. So for instance, if we have the identity or core belief that life is hard, life is a struggle, we're going to see evidence of that everywhere, and it's going to influence how we take action. If we believe things are hard, we're likely going to make things harder than they need to be, subconsciously creating our own obstacles that really don't even need to be there at all. If we believe that we have powerful gifts and a message to share with this planet, we're going to show up and we're going to create offers that transform people's lives. We're going to be visible and share a message. So how we view ourselves, the identity we take on, determines what we create, what we notice. Even in terms of how we program our mind, our conscious mind gives directive to our subconscious in determining what's important. And then we go to work noticing everything that supports that belief. So the reason I bring this up is during this Aries solar eclipse, you have the opportunity to look at how you're showing up in the world, the stories you're entertaining, the identity you've taken on, and to give that a big upgrade. And this is an invitation for all of us, no matter where you are on that journey, your current level of confidence and boldness and courage. This is like step it up a notch. Whatever whatever that means for you. We're all on our own path, and we're the only ones that can fully know for sure whether we are showing up and playing full out in terms of what that means for you and your path. So let us bring up the charts here so you have a visible representation of these energies. So we have the new moon over here at 19 degrees, 24 minutes of Aries. One of the most significant aspects of this new moon is it is exact conjunct Chiron, also at 19 degrees, 24 minutes. And of course, the sun is there, which makes it a new moon. The sun and moon are conjunct, all at 19 degrees, 24 minutes. Chiron is another key aspect in your birth chart. It's known as the wounded healer. So it shows where you may have insecurities, fears, trauma, but it's the key to your greatest growth and healing. Chiron and the legend of Chiron, the story of Chiron, reminds us that we can have wounding. We can have obstacles in our life and still be an extremely powerful healer. Chiron had deep emotional and even physical wounds, and yet he was a master healer to the gods. And this archetypal energy is about owning our ability to heal while we are on our healing journey, to be that teacher while we are still a student. And, a big message flowing in the records is, where are you holding back? Like, where are you waiting for your life to start and thinking it's going to be something outside of you that moves it forward, rather than that inner fire and spark that propels you forward into action? Aries is a fire sign. It is a fiery energy. So it's looking at how we work with the element of fire, which I associate it with movement, momentum, power, and passion. What are you passionate about? The shadow side of this energy can be taking a lot of action, but without intentionality or focus. Can be conflict, it can be anger, it can be where that feeling of anger or frustration is living within you, where it's held in your body and where it comes out and is projected toward other people. An opportunity to do deeper healing on this. So Chiron here, this is where I also see this is a call to healers. This is the call to the teachers to rise up, share your work, share your message. No more waiting. You are ready. It is time. And again, wherever you are on your journey, maybe you've been in business for a long time as a healer, and this is a call to be more visible, be more confident, claim more space. This is a rise of the healers, and very significant here because Chiron is actually approaching its own return from when it was initially discovered. So it also suggests there's an evolution here on how we understand healing and spiritual practices on the planet. And we already see where the more people that practice astrology, Reiki, energy work, show up, numerology. There's so much theta healing. I work with so many incredible healers, all these modalities, human design, all these things are just really on the rise. And it helps us understand our blueprint, our truth. It takes us home to ourself where all of our power is. It helps us build a true foundation needed in order to move forward in the world in a way that's in alignment with joy and true power that is rooted in love. So very significant here. And also, this energy isn't, directly, harshly interacting with any of the other planets. So there's a sovereignty here. And Aries is also sovereign. Is that, there's this energy of sovereignty really coming in, and potency around this Aries archetype and how it is alive within us. So we have some other aspects here that I want to look at. The ruler of this eclipse is Mars. So we currently have Mars in the sign of Pisces conjuncting Saturn. This is interesting. I'm just feeling more deeply into this energy here. Mars is the ruler. It's all about drive and momentum, how we use our life force energy. In your birth chart, Mars gives a lot of information on how you manifest, how you take action, how you get the ball rolling on things, whether you are somebody that tends to jump right in or hesitate a little more. And there's so many factors there around how you can best use your energy in the world. So Mars currently in the sign of Pisces, conjuncting Saturn at the time of this new moon, also kind of brings in the bigger picture of the full cycle of what's happening this eclipse season. So in order for us to fully move forward, there needs to be a releasing. In order for there to be a rebirth, there first needs to be a death of what no longer serves us. And Mars in the final sign of the zodiac here is still bringing to completion the cycles and the patterns and the things we need to release to fully embrace this rebirth and this new 2-year cycle and season you're stepping into. We are all stepping into at this time. I want to share as well, so I don't forget, for anyone that wants to dive more deeply into this, I've opened up 5 spots for private readings where we'll dive deep into your unique chart. The portal's opening for you. I'll share channel guidance from your Akashic records pertaining to the areas of your life you want deeper insight on, and I always guide you through personalized clearings and activations and journeys in the Akashic records, like personalized to you, what flows through while we are in your records. So I'll post the link below if you want to claim one of those 5 spots and connect one-on-one. It would be an honor. Again, especially with these energies that are happening, I know we're all feeling that transformation. We're all letting go of a lot in order to move forward. And that's, can sound like a fun thing to say, but it can bring up anger. It can bring up grief. It can bring up fear. It can show us where we are too stuck in our comfort zone and what is familiar, instead of moving into where we know our soul and our heart is essentially leading us and calling us. So with Saturn here too, Saturn always brings in an element of structure, an element of discipline. And this can also be devotion to our spiritual practices, devotion to our spirit. And, as I say that, what comes through as well is like, what lights you up? What sparks joy? And are you committed to that? Or do those things that bring you joy, that revive your body and your spirit, are they on the back burner until you check everything off your to-do list? And is it time to revert that? You need to care for yourself first, right? Aries is also about care for yourself, how you are showing up in relationships, the role you play. Are you looking after yourself? Are you prioritizing yourself? So there's an element here of being devoted. Another, you could say this is discipline. I know many people who come into my world resonate much more with the term devotion, and I really feel that's key to me. Like anything I do in my life that may look very structured is truly coming from the space of devotion to the things that nourish me, that support my vision and purpose in the world. So there's an element here of that devotion, and this could be to your spiritual work as well, devoted to sharing your message, devoted to sharing your gifts, and really crafting out time for that, like not putting that on the back burner, right? This is a call to rise into your power, to do what you're here to do on the planet. And don't overthink that. Like there's a lot around purpose where we can really get in our head and start to overthink. And it's something that's felt and experienced moment to moment. It's, yeah, we confuse it so much. And I think often why the answers don't come in around that, when we ask, like, what is my purpose? What is my mission? Is we're almost thinking too deeply about it in a way. It's like, well, I mean, you chose to be here in this physical body. You have gifts to share. Life is meant to be enjoyed. And we overthink it. It really isn't as complex as sometimes our mind can make it out to be. And it's certainly, the answers don't come when we go in circles in our head. We got to move our feet, take action, try things, get curious about what we do love, what we don't, what we once loved and no longer do. Like, move your feet, take the action. This energy really supports that, even though we are also in a Mercury retrograde. This is a great time to transition to that. So we do have Mercury, the communication planet, retrograding. Beginning of April, it went retrograde. So right in the middle of eclipse, retrograde happens here. Sometimes people think the Mercury retrograde is like, make no decisions, put your life on pause. I have never felt that or worked with Mercury in that way. I think it's a call to intentionality, definitely looking at, are we actually listening to where our intuition is calling us and moving forward and taking action? Or are we too much in our head going in circles? Are we pausing for so long that we're falling into old patterns of fear? Or are we just, again, taking a lot of action, but there's no direction or intentionality behind it? So it's a call to intentionality. It's also a call to revisit old programming and old patterns. I mean, you don't even actually have to revisit it. You'll just become aware of it. You don't want to get pulled into the old pattern, but you want to be intentional about letting it go and what you are now choosing. And I work with my clients very closely on that. I have so many beautiful practices, even from my days in psychology. So this would be brought into the readings as well. Any of my longer term containers, we do work around reprogramming our belief system, working with our subconscious mind so it's on board with what we want to create, aligning the subconscious with the super conscious mind so we are aligned with our highest path and we're able to rework beliefs that are just not useful for us, essentially, or rooted very much in fear. The other thing I want to look at here is Jupiter Uranus conjunction in Taurus, which deserves like a series of videos in and of itself. It's almost its own storyline. Like it's not directly interacting with this eclipse energy, but it's very significant in that this alignment is happening alongside the solar eclipse energy. So this really speaks to change, evolution, and ascension on the planet. Jupiter conjunct Uranus is a very beneficial alignment that really dissolves limits. Like this connection here, it's like, what is a box? What is a boundary? We are limitless. So and then in the sign of Taurus, which can represent Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, our planet, the evolution of our planet, where we become more connected to Mother Gaia, each of us, deepening that connection and what we can do to care for her, support her. This is changes in economics, huge changes in economics and how we understand money and abundance, how it is distributed on the planet. Like this is one of the most significant alignments that we see in April before Jupiter continues on and moves into Gemini, meeting up with Uranus in the sign of Taurus, bringing about massive shifts to the planet that we're all feeling, right? We just can look around to see big changes are unfolding in how we relate to Mother Earth, how we relate to money, how we see our ability to bring money into our experience and circulate it on this planet. I think this connects to the rise of healers and light workers, allowing them to themselves to receive abundantly for their work in the world, so they can have money in their hands to really have a say in what's valued on this planet. So again, this could be a whole other side conversation. So just briefly bringing that in. But the main thing here is this energy that we have in Aries. And I'm going to stop the share here as we prepare to wrap up, but just say, I invite you to take time to really look at what is this new season and cycle you are entering in your life. In this new season, in this new chapter, what are you devoted to? What habits and practices are you devoted to? How do you see yourself? How do you show up? What is your relationship with fear? In the sense of, does it run the show for you? Is it time to remember who you are and shift back into your power? What is your relationship to healing? Remember, healing can also be like fun. We don't always associate those things, but I mean, have you ever taken a trip that was incredibly fun for you and also incredibly healing at the same time? Like healing doesn't have to be just sitting in our therapist's office going over trauma of the past at all. Healing can happen in connection with other people. It can happen on a nature walk. It can happen on a trip. It can happen in our meditation. Like this changing our relationship to how we see healing in our life, and also not being afraid to look at some of those shadows as well, but with the lens of where are we going, not getting caught in the past, but keeping up with who we are today. So once again, I'm going to put resources below. Connect with me over on Instagram. Book a reading if you would like some of that one-on-one time, personalized guidance as we move through this eclipse portal. And again, this will also be what is this new 2-year cycle that you are personally entering. This is extending well beyond eclipse season. My Divine Creators Inner Circle, if you want in on the new and full moon rituals, my top digital courses, Akashic Record meditations, high-level energy work, all of that is in my inner circle. So I'll attach all of that below for you. I am sending you so much love. Happy new moon eclipse, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.